Welcome back to Low Country Spotlight. We are so glad that you stayed with us because this is probably one of my most favorite, or maybe least favorite, parts of the segment. We were talking to Dr. Paula Orr earlier about issues dealing with health and wellness. Now our next guest is my personal trainer and a really good friend of mine, Kimberly Basil of Basil Bodies. So first I want to welcome Kimberly to Low Country Spotlight. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm also pleased to announce that Kimberly and Basil Bodies is going to team up with Low Country Spotlight, and she is going to be providing us with periodically health and fitness tips as well. So again, we've got your back here and we want to hear from you. So if you have questions about dieting, about exercise, about a regimen, we want you to email those questions to us or contact us on Facebook, and Kimberly is going to help and assist us in that, and she's going to respond to your questions. Now, let's get this show on the road, girl.
Okay.
You have this thing, it's called a BMI meter, or it's got some really long name. I know Dr. Orr mentioned it earlier. Tell us a little bit about what this does, the body mass index measurer, and why it's so important.
It is going to measure your body fat percent, and it's important to know where you are so that you know how much body fat weight you need to lose. And a good percent is going to be in between 18 to 24.9%.
Wow. Now, you know, one of the things that Dr. Orr mentioned earlier was sometimes you've got people that start out an exercise regimen with a BMI above 40%. What does that tell you about their overall health and about what type of goals they need to establish? Well,
they're definitely at risk, a higher risk for diabetes and heart disease and cancer and things like that. So they need to take that into consideration with their health, and they want to make it maybe a more serious goal to look at their weight. You know.
How do you even begin? Because when you and I started together at the gym, one of the first things you told me to do was, you know, hold on to this thing and position it and things of that nature. We're not going to measure what my BMI is, and we're not going to tell anybody. But in addition to getting a starting point and determining what your BMI is, what is the next thing that you should do if you want to start a fitness regimen?
Well, you figure out where you are as far as your activity level and your body fat percent. And then you sit down, and the most important thing to do with your trainer or by yourself, whichever one you want to go with, is to write down your goals. And they have to be very specific. You want a short term, a mid-term, and a long-term or overall goal. And I don't like to use the scale because if you're going to build a little bit more lean muscle, which is going to boost your metabolism, and I definitely recommend, then the scale is not going to be as important. It's going to be more how you look and feel in your clothes.
And I think that's what the issue is that I have, because I'll be honest with you, sometimes I get on the scale and I see like 3 digits that like totally freak me out. And you know, I'm like, but Margie, if I lost 20 pounds, I'd weigh a lot less than I need to, you know? So talk to us about how it's important or why it's important to just forget about the number and look at your overall health.
Yeah, the scale is definitely can be discouraging. So you need to put that aside. You need to be measured from head to toe, especially around your waist and your abdomen area. And that is going to be your guidelines. So you're going to get your body fat percent down, your lean body weight up, and then of course your inches, and you're going to look and feel better in your clothes. So it doesn't really matter what the scale says as much.
Okay, so what if, you know, I have a number, I mean, I weigh a certain amount of pounds before I start, and then, I mean, I'm faithful, I'm committed, you know, not like I am right now, you know, I'm coming to the gym.
You will be.
I'm coming to the gym all the time, but I don't see the scale, the number moving any. I mean, is that necessarily a bad thing?
No, it's definitely not a bad thing, because when you weight train and boost your metabolism, you're actually going to build a little bit more lean muscle. And that's exactly what you want to do, because you can do hours and hours of cardio and you're going to lose muscle and fat at the same time. And then you're going to look at yourself in the mirror, and you'll be skinnier, but you'll be flabby and not so happy with your figure. Whereas when you strength train a little bit, you can kind of sculpt your body, and you don't have to look like a big muscle bodybuilder to do that. But you'll be stronger and leaner, and you'll burn calories throughout the day faster than you will with just cardio alone.
And you know, I think that's what my concern is. I mean, sometimes, you know, girl, you've had me, can I leg press like 160, what was it, 165 or something?
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, I don't want those calves that are huge and massive and popping out. So one of my concerns is I do want to do the weight training, but I don't want to look like a female bodybuilder. There's nothing wrong with that, because I have a good friend who is one, but I don't necessarily want that for my body.
Female bodybuilding is definitely an art. It takes a lot for a woman to look
so
like
I'm not going to do that just by leg pressing 165. No, it's not going to happen.
I actually know girls that compete in powerlifting, so they lift extremely heavy amount of weight, and they look like you know, just a very fit woman.
Right, right.
With curves and everything else. So it kind of depends on your goals. You know, if you want to be a female bodybuilder, you have to go that route. You have to eat a certain amount,
right,
exercise a certain way, but it's still very hard. It's an art to it.
Okay. Now talk to us a little bit about how you would determine a meal plan, or I guess just like you come up with a fitness plan, you know, you have me doing a certain amount of reps when I come in, and you know, one day we focus on legs and one day we focus on arms and chest. Talk to us about food and meal plans and the importance of planning and having a diet, not diet per se, but a diet of foods
way of life.
Yes, a healthy way of life. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's what we try to teach people, is healthy habits, you know, not a diet, like I know most people, they talk about, we don't want a diet. It's a healthy way of eating, the way we're intended to eat. Okay. So it depends on your goals. Like if you want to lose weight, you're going to have to subtract probably 500 calories from what you normally should eat throughout the day. So we'll have to figure out what that calorie intake is and do it from there. It's definitely a process. But you should be able to enjoy most of the foods that you're accustomed to eating, as far as your lean proteins and your vegetables and your fruit, and then occasionally, maybe once a week, splurge on a hamburger or something like that, and it's not going to hurt you.
So proteins, I've heard, are very important to muscle building. So is there a certain
building blocks?
Okay, is there a certain amount of proteins that you would recommend if someone's working on building muscle?
Yeah, that's another thing that you have to sit down with a professional and talk about, because it's going to be different for everybody. Okay. So.
Okay.
But you definitely need to eat a little bit more protein than most people think of, you know, especially in the morning. Breakfast is definitely the most important meal of the day.
And you know what? That is, you and I talk about this all the time, because I don't eat breakfast because I just don't have time, you know, and maybe that's why at the end, when you say, okay, send me a picture of what you eat, or, you know, tell me what you eat, and I'm like, oh God, I cannot tell her that I just went to, you know, Longhorn and ate like a dozen wings. And, you know, ate the bread with the butter on it and all that stuff. And it's because I'm starving by the end of the day.
Yeah. It's because, you're starving yourself, basically. So when you're sleeping, your body doesn't need to burn as many calories. So when you wake up the first thing in the morning within that hour time frame, that's the best time to eat, because it kind of boosts your metabolism and says, hey, wake up, we can start burning calories now. So if you don't eat breakfast and you wait till 12 or 1 o'clock, not only are you hungry, but your metabolism has slowed down, so you're holding on to all that fat and everything that you put in your body.
Okay.
So it's not working as efficiently.
Okay, and the last question that I want to ask you before we go is, you know, one of the things that I've heard is, you can answer this very quickly, is that, you know, you should eat small meals, you know, throughout the course of the day.
Every 3 to 4 hours is perfect.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a large meal, like you said.
Okay, so don't do what I do, which is just put it all in at 8 o'clock at night, which is another show topic. Okay, thank you so much, Kimberly, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now as I said, Kimberly is going to be our fitness expert. She is my personal trainer. She is down at Practical Fitness in Ladson, so you need to go check her out. All of her information is going to be on our Facebook page and also on our Low Country Spotlight website. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Low Country Spotlight, where the spotlight is on you, and we've also got your back. So stay tuned for our next show. Have a good day.